Can you come also to the audience?
Yeah, audience also can interact with you. Good morning.
Okay.
Welcoming Girish, All India Rank 4, for guiding you all with respect to the preparation strategies for CMA final exclusively. This session is not based on Bharadwaj Institute or classes or faculties. It is a student to student program where Girish will guide you definitely on better on how to guide, how to prepare at home, the success strategies, especially for CMA final, all 8 papers, and securing All India Rank 4 is a great thing. First, I congratulate you for that. And our students are also eagerly waiting to listen to you on this particular preparation strategies for their CMA final. Over to Girish.
Sure, sir. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. So I'm Girish PG, and I recently qualified as a CMA with All India 4th. I'm also a chartered accountant with 2 years of experience in consulting and energy. So let's directly jump into preparation strategy. The overall preparation, let me split it into 5 phases. The first one being attending the coaching classes. So usually when you attend the coaching classes, try to learn the concepts directly in the class. Rather than waiting for recordings, or if you don't understand something, trying to get it clarified during the class itself, and try to attend more face to face or live classes rather than watching and waiting for recordings. So the first phase, that is the coaching classes, should be ideally completed before 100 days before the examination. So try to avoid keeping any classes or any spillover during the last 100 days before the examinations. And the phase 2 begins, the important phase, that is the 100 or 120 days before the exam. So first, initially, where we all need to start is prepare a schedule or a timetable. Okay. Ideally, it's very tough to follow a timetable during CMA final because the subject is very vast. You'll not be able to follow the timetable, which is absolutely fine. But when you create a timetable or a schedule, it gets you the direction where to start and how to proceed. It also gets you an understanding on how much percentage you have completed and what is the volume of the subjects. Because studying 8 subjects is no joke. It's very voluminous, and when you keep studying, right, you will have to keep a track on how much you have completed and how much is still pending. So that will definitely guide you if you have a proper schedule, a timetable. Bare minimum you need to have subject, chapter, and weightage. So out of 800 marks, when you keep studying, you need to fill the schedule and ensure that how much percentage you have completed and how much is still pending to complete. So that will be the first step, 100 days before the examination. The second thing is how I did my schedule is it's very simple. I just put it in the descending order of my toughness. 8 subjects I do. I just put it in descending order. Which I saw was the most toughest one. I took it first. I completed the whole subject and then went to the next subject. So I took one subject at a time and completed it and then moved to the next subject. So if you are fine with that, you can use a similar strategy or adopt a one that is more suitable for you. Then reading ISM is a must. End to end you have to study. ISM is, there is no selective study when you are reading for the first time, because most of the questions usually come from the ISM or some extra adjustments in the same questions, something like that. So read everything in the ISM, including the book back questions, the illustrations, and the examples to explain the concept that have been given in the study material. When I say ISM, I mean the study material. So when you read it for the first time, don't concentrate on the weightage, because as CMA professionals or as professionals, when you qualify, they are not going to check whether what is the weightage of this chapter, but you need to know the entire concepts. So when you are reading it for the first time, ensure that you are completing it end to end without leaving any chapters. Don't consider the weightage for when you are reading it for the first time. That is only for the subsequent revision. So try to understand the concepts completely. Then I prepared something called the summary of adjustments, which is inspired from Dinesh Jain sir from Bharadwaj Institute. He taught me how to prepare a summary of adjustments during my CA final classes. So what is summary of adjustment is something like for practical concepts like sums are there. You can prepare something like critical adjustments, new formulas, important tips. As and when you solve a sum, you just make a note of all the adjustments that you thought that had you known those, you would have cracked that sum. So just keep a note completely of all the illustrations in the book. So preparing for practical subjects, preparing a summary for judgment is a must. That is very handy during the subsequent revision aspects. When it comes to theory subject, you can prepare something like a bird's eye view, like heading and important subheadings. Have separate notes where you can write all the headings and subheadings for the theory subjects. And when you go through the book back question or previous year question paper, just mark a star or some highlight in the heading where more questions are being asked. So in the end of revision, you will be able to know where the more questions are getting concentrated and where to focus on in the subsequent revision aspects. Then try to focus something on the advanced concepts in final, especially in CMA final. You don't read everything from scratch. Something will be on top of the intermediate syllabus. Let me give you an example. NPV versus IR. Obviously, we learned all this in intermediate syllabus. We all know how to calculate IR or NPV. At final level, they are definitely not going to test you those. What they are going to ask is, say, there are project A and project B, and they are giving a conflicting results. Now, how do you go about why it is happening? IR is suggesting project B and NPV is suggesting project A. What is the reason? How to resolve it and when it can happen? That is what you need to focus on. At final level, it's more on the advanced aspects and not only on the intermediate or basic levels. So when you are studying, just concentrate more on the advanced aspects. And let me give you one more example. Standard costing, they are not going to ask you what is material cost variance or some basic questions. They are going to ask you more on planning and operating variance, which is new for the final syllabus, which is built on top of the existing fundamentals that we learned in the intermediate syllabus. So try to focus on the advanced part, and what you learned in intermediate is only basic and fundamentals, which is a prerequisite for learning this. And prepare consistently for the final examination. It's like create a habit daily, like you need to study minimum 3 hours per day. What has not worked out well is that you will have watched OTT movies for 1 week, and the next 1 week I just turn on the beast mode and it turns up. It never works that way. All you need to do is prepare consistently, like 3 hours a day minimum for the last 90 days before the examination at a stretch. When you do it for 21 days at a stretch, they say it creates a habit, just like how we wake up and brush our teeth, like daily 3 hours of study, that really helps. Since I was working during the preparation of CMA final, I studied between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. night. So every working day, I used to study for 3 hours between that time. Choose the time that suits you and try to establish a time pattern within which you will always study. So that always gives you more confidence and helps you succeed also. We can study almost 8 hours per day at least during the last 90 days, which will help you to cover the entire syllabus. Then comes this covering of the 8 subjects for the first time. You need to do at least maximum you can take is 80 days, 10 days per subject. So try to complete it between the 100 days before the exam till 30 days before the exam. So before the 30 days before the exam, you should have at least covered the entire ISM at least once, and you should have completed all your coaching classes or whatever you are going before 30 days before the exam. In the last 30 days, what you need to do is you need to go through all your summary of adjustment or revision notes that you have prepared, and for only the important concepts in study material, go through them once again, which have more weightage. This is the first time where you bring in the weightage of the syllabus. And the important phase, that is the day before the exam. Sometimes it feels like day before the exam you forgot everything and you don't remember everything. You feel like you can give up for one group or 2 groups. I would say if you are really prepared all these days, it is very common to have those fear. Just move on and try to write. Be confident and give it the best. It's not like even if you are rank holder, you are not confident. Even I was scared before the exam. I was hesitant whether I can write all the 8 papers because it feels little blank before the exam day. 1 week before the exam, it feels like you don't remember anything even though you study. But when you write the exam, you will definitely recollect. You'll be able to bring it to the surface and write it. Especially for CMA exam, what I feel is most challenging is 8 days at a stretch. 2 groups, 8 days at a stretch is no joke, and it's very mentally and physically tiring. My exam hall was very far away from Chennai. It's 56 kilometers from my house, so I had to travel around 3 hours per day only in travel. to the examination centers. That can happen to anyone. So maximum you will have is 6 hours per exam to revise. So you need to prepare your revision notes in such a way that you are able to revise for the exam in 6 hours maximum, nothing more than that. This is the place where the summary of adjustment that you prepared in the phase 1 or phase 2 that helps you to cover the entire subject in 6 hours. So even though you study a lot before the exam, what matters is what you write in the 3 hours. So try to read the summary of adjustment and try to bring the conceptual clarity to your surface before the exam. Right, and during the exam, let me move to the exam phase. It's like initially I made a mistake, by using the 50 minutes reading time to answer the MCQs initially, but later I corrected it. The reason being that in the CMA exams you need to provide justification for the MCQs. So there is no point in solving it during the 15 minutes time. Even if you solve it, again you'll have to give the justification and give the workings in the later part of the time when you write the examination. So I will use the 15 minutes of reading time to decide which questions you are going to attend. Obviously, the first one that the most and followed by lower ones. So try to decide out of 6 questions they give you a choice. You can write almost 4 or 5. So decide which questions you are going to write and order of the questions that you are going to write, because that will help you save time rather than solve the MCQs. Keep the MCQs solving at the last. Once you are done deciding the questions and then the order of questions, then move to solve MCQs. Use this 15 minutes more productively, rather than solving MCQs, which is not useful as far as CMA exam is concerned. And post exam, that like everyone says, don't discuss the answers. Even if someone discusses, it's okay. And if you feel the paper was tough, it's fine, because out in all these professional exams, right, when paper is tough, the correction is lenient, and it works vice versa. You cannot be happy that paper was easy and the correction will be very strict. So just keep move on and concentrate on the next exam. That's it. I think if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
Please, any question, anything, please ask. We came all the way for our session. Already a chartered accountant very busy schedule. But please, yeah, you spoke point blank that everyone understood the importance of preparation. What is important is the preparation, the running notes or the skeleton notes or whatever that is. 30 days before exam, ensure that you close your learning. 30 days, last 30 days, ensure that you are revising. There are wonderful points which the students will carry on. And of course, if you look at certain things like during exams, we tell them don't discuss question paper, plan the thing and go ahead. So it was fantastic that you have covered in a crispy manner. Otherwise, it's like firing AK-47. You fired to the point, all the 47 targets. Thank you so much, Girish, for addressing. And it will be a motivating one for them as well as an eye-opener that the students should prepare, then present, then pass the exam. Thank you so much, Girish, for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions the students can ask now?
Yeah.
Students are asking about how to prepare for DT, direct tax.
Provisions.
Whether you have to see provisions or questions.
For direct taxation, try to solve more questions. When you solve more questions, definitely they are not going to create a new question which is very tough for direct taxation. So try to solve more questions, that will gain you more confidence. Provision section, of course, you don't need to remember, but if you remember, write it down. Or else, if you don't need to by heart, as you solve more questions, there are some sections that keep repeating every time. So you will get used to that. If you remember those in the exam, just write it up. Don't write a wrong section. If you remember, write it, or else just write as per the Income Tax Act. This is the provision. So try to solve more sums. My confidence. I was more confident on the numerical aspect rather than the theory. So. And for international taxation also, it's like there are some chapters that are very, that we can solve more logic, like transfer pricing, DTA. So concentrate on those. And also in direct taxation books, try to read the ISM completely. In ISM, there are some examples which they just picked up and put it in the question paper. Mostly in the example part of it. So read it end to end, even the theory in direct taxation book once. so concentrate on the examples and illustrations. So mostly they will get repeated in CMA exams. I have observed that in the past. So try to solve more sums. That will gain you more confidence, and you can crack it easily.
Yeah, they asked about the presentation tips for theory and problems. Presentation tips on theory and practical questions.
Presentation tips, especially for law subject data, right? You need to understand the facts of the questions. If it's a case study, you just need to write the facts first. From the question, you just copy the facts and write it down. Then provision, if you remember, write the section numbers, subsection numbers, and all, it's not required. If you remember it, write it down as a separate provision. What is the provision? Then in analysis phase, you compare the facts with the provisions. So you write it in 3 ways, like the facts of the given case, provisions applicable, and followed by the analysis phase, and the conclusion is 1 line. So when you write it this way, even though you don't have much points, say it's a 8-mark questions and you don't have much points, when you write it this way, it looks like a little large, right? So, and when the evaluator corrects it, it's easy for him to correct it and evaluate it. Rather than writing in a big paragraph, right, people won't be able to concentrate on the evaluation part. So make it easy for the evaluator, write it in bullets, and if possible, make the subheadings. When you are explaining concept, write the subheading and followed by the content. So don't write big paragraphs, write in bullet points and try to give the subheading wherever possible. And for auditing aspect, auditing paper, try to give more technical jargons. Auditing is a paper, where anyone can write. I mean, for 100 pages also you can write. But what matters from an evaluator's perspective is you need to use some jargon that is given in the book. You need to convince the evaluator that you have studied something and you are writing. Writing more pages does not really help, and try to don't say write same as book, but try to cover some key words and key sentences in auditing. Some key jargon that will be very useful.
Ritanya, it is for final students. For inter students, we'll organize a separate meeting with another student. Okay, so this is confined to final.
I can see some chat. Hurry is challenging. It's not like you work and there are days where you really have a hectic day and you need to study. That's when the 3 hours minimum strategy comes into play. It's like you have time 3 hours that you never think about work. It's like work ends at 9 p.m. in the night and there's nothing beyond that. So whatever happens, you study between 10 and 1. So when you set a 3-hour time limit, which is very much possible for everyone, I think, we can just focus on the 3 hours schedule. I think when you study for 3 hours per day effectively, that is what matters the most. Even if you read 8 hours in leisure, it does not work out. 3 hours of effective study is, I think, enough to cover the entire syllabus in 90 days or 100 days before the examination. So create a habit of studying, that's more important, even if you are working during studies and ignore the work aspects. Which paper I started with? Sweta, I started with theory papers, which I am not good at. That's what I was not comfortable with. So I think I started with law paper, then I went into direct taxation, and then I came back to audit, followed by indirect tax and the numerical sums like SFM, CMP, and came in the end. So this depends on what you feel is tough for you. So it's not like what is tough for me is tough for you also. So Sweta, just put it in descending order of what you feel tough to start with. That will get you more confidence in the end. And any tips for capital budgeting chapters of SFM? Capital budgeting is actually a very, I will call it easy chapter, but it's a very, it will take lots of time when you solve the question. So when you solve more sums, you need to concentrate on the timing in the examination. The examination, when you read it, it will be a very large question. It will go to 2-3 pages, right? So that will demotivate you in the exam. Otherwise, even though the questions are very big in capital budgeting, I think if you understand logically, it is very easy to solve. So as you more you practice, you will get the time management properly for capital budgeting questions, and that should be easy to get. Just that, don't think the questions are big. It's going to be tough. That is a mindset that we need to come out of. So even the capital budgeting has questions that go to 2-3 pages questions alone. It's pretty simple to solve if you crack the format, how to start and how to proceed. It will be very easy.
Thank you so much, Girish, and thank you and congratulations once again. And thank you once again for guiding the students in a crispy manner in 20 minutes of time. That is very, very amazing. And thank you for accepting the invitation to guide the students. Wishing you the best for all your future endeavors.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, everyone, and all the best in your future endeavors. Looking forward to meet you all as a professional soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.